Okay, to a bowl, you're going to add a half a cup of water with a half a teaspoon of yeast. This should be warm water, roughly around 100 degrees. You're going to let that activate. So that should take about anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes. All right, after the yeast activates, we're going to add the flour salt mixture into the bowl. Use a fork, mix it up, and then you're going to knead it with the palm of your hands. Make sure you get all of it. Start it with the fork and then eventually you'll go into it with your hand. You can still use your parchment paper to work it into the bowl, just like this. You do want to knead it. So what you want to do by kneading is, again, you press down, see how you got an indentation? If you knead it to the point, it'll spring back. That means you built enough gluten into the mixture that it will have that nice, beautiful texture. So this is what you're doing here. Okay, now you can go into your parchment paper and just roll it out, just like that. Work it with your hands. Okay, just keep working it. And it should be to the point where it barely sticks to your hand. Okay, then once you get to that point, put it back into the bowl and let it proof for 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, after about 45 minutes to an hour, it's doubled in size. You're going to remove it from the bowl and you're going to shape it into a baguette loaf. So to do that, throw a little bench flour down. Okay, so you're going to start it with your hands just like this and stretch it out. We've got a knife here so we can cut it. So both hands and then stretch. And then you do want to kind of cut through just like that. Just like that. And you got a baguette. Your next step is to throw a little corn meal on the bottom. Just like that. Place it on the pan and then you're going to cut slits in it just like this, and then you're going to proof it again. Make sure you have that cornmeal on the bottom. That's going to give you the nice crust, and then we'll bake it off in an oven. This is what the bread will look like once it's proofed. You're going to put it in a 450-degree oven. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and get your bread, place it in a 450-degree oven. You're going to spray it, spray the oven. Then you'll close the oven and you'll do another 5 minutes and then spray it again. Alright, this is what it should look like once it gets taken out of the oven. Again, should have a nice firm crust. That's what you're looking for, nice and crusty. Okay, for the chicken stock I have a bone-in chicken breast. Okay, and that means that the bone is in it, as you can see here. This is going to give you all your flavor. I got 1 carrot, 1/4 of an onion. Take off the ends. You can actually use it for your stock if you'd like. Throw it all in there. You could also use the peelings from the carrot in there as well. Rough chop your celery, onions, and carrots. It doesn't have to be a perfect cut, just rough chop. Use the ends. Throw it all in. Onion. your chicken. When you put your chicken in, you're going to put it meat side down, bone side up. 1 quart of water. Just enough to submerge it. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to bring this up to a simmer. Okay, or a little, or just enough so it starts to boil. Then you're going to lower it down to a low simmer. Okay, after the chicken is done, this is what it should look like. Remove your chicken. It should be cooked. This is after 45 minutes to an hour at a low simmer. Okay, then you're going to get a strainer, strain your stock into a container. And this is what it should look like. You can discard the vegetables. So this is your broth for your chicken. And then you're going to break this down. And again, you'll let it cool a little bit. But you basically just take the bone off. You may have a few little pin bones that you may have to go through, but for the most part you just take off the breast part of it, the breastbone. And then you can discard the bones. And now you have this nice chunk of chicken. You also want to take off the skin. And now you have this nice breast that you will dice up with your soup. When you do your soup, you can either do a nice chicken soup, or you can do the chicken tortellini, creamy chicken tortellini soup, whichever you choose. Alright, for the soup we have the cooked chicken, we have the broth, we have roux, which is equal parts of butter and flour, we have celery, onions, and carrots, that's your mirepoix, chopped garlic, we have your cream, your oil, and your basil. Okay, you want to begin by dicing up your vegetables, your carrot, celery, and onion. Small to medium dice is what you're looking for. You also want to do your chicken about the same size. Celery, and your onion. Since it's a quarter of an onion, then you usually want to take the leaves off, flatten them up. Same with these. As much as you can. Take off the core. Flatten. Alright, you're going to get a pot, add your oil to it, and your celery, onion, carrot mixture, and you're going to sweat them out. Okay, so just sweat them out for about 3 minutes or so, just to get the onions somewhat translucent. And while that's happening, you can go ahead and dice up your chicken. Okay, so your chicken, while your vegetables are going, you can actually dice the chicken if you'd like while you're doing you can do everything at once. Or while that's going, you can actually just get your chicken and dice it up. You can shred it if you like. Dice looks better, but it's up to you. You dice it up about the same size as the vegetables. Make sure you take all the bones out. Here's your tender. And then set it aside. You won't put this in until the very end. I forgot to mention, you also have the tortellini that you're going to add in there. Okay, so once it gets all translucent, you're going to add your garlic. Again, up to you how much you add. How much garlic flavor do you want in? All we're going to do is just get that garlic lightly cooked. So when you begin to smell the nice garlic, then you know you're on the right track. Then you're going to add your chicken. And you're going to bring it up to a boil or a simmer, and then that's when you're going to add your tortellini. So we'll get that up to a nice little boil. Once it comes to a boil, you're going to add your tortellini. And again, this is a fresh tortellini, so it won't take long to cook. It literally takes maybe a minute or 2 minutes. If you're using the raw or the uncooked, then it's going to take a lot longer. I recommend you buy the fresh. And you get that all stirred up. And while that's going, you're going to add your roux. A little bit at a time. And this is going to thicken up your soup to your consistency. You could add more stock to this if you'd like, or water, and then adjust with salt and pepper. So I'm just adding a little bit at a time to get it to the right consistency. Just remember that when you add the roux, the stock should at least simmer, or else it won't thicken. One more, and that should do it. At this point, your tortellini is already cooked. We'll lower down the flame a little bit. Just keep stirring. Be careful when you stir it, because as your tortellini cooks, it is tender. So you really don't want to use a whisk at this point. Just make sure, or you could use a wooden spoon or a rubber spatula. The whisk could break down the tortellini, tear it up. You want to keep them nice and whole. Alright, so we've reached that right consistency. Then we're going to add salt and pepper to taste. And black pepper. Add your basil. Add your cream. You can also finish this off with Parmesan on the top if you'd like. And then finally you are going to add your chicken, but do that at the very end. Just let this simmer for a minute. It's very important to cook out the starch in the roux. So again, once you put it in, it should simmer for at least 3 to 5 minutes. Low, at very low simmer. And then once you do that, then you add your chicken. If you add your chicken in too soon, it tends to get tough. So you just want to place it right in. And then taste. taste it and adjust. And that's perfect. Okay, in goes the chicken. And there you have it, chicken tortellini soup. All right, for the presentation, just grab a little of the soup. Right. Hit it with the little parm and your bread, and there you go.